Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining today, everyone. We've got a small group here. Transit plans is changing less than the other areas of transit, so we may not take the whole half an hour here. It'll depend on questions. If you weren't able to attend the last session that we just did on the admin training, then this may be news to you. This is what transit now looks like when you sign on. So our intended go live is Thursday at close of business. And so Friday, if you sign on to transit, this is what it's going to look like. Right now, we've got the demo domain available. Your username and password in demo should be the same as production. So I will put this link in the chat, and you're welcome to go and look around and see what's there and start getting used to the system. The first thing is that when you sign on, you're now going to be presented with a page that looks similar to this. Because I'm signed on as an admin, I may have different windows than if you're an admin you would have, but you'll have something that lets you know things that are important to you, like things, test rounds that you're participating in, things like that will be displayed here. Again, if you're an admin, you'll also have this one for showing you who's logged in. In Transit 7, to get to your user settings, you're going to click your initial icon over here and it will bring up the user settings. And this is where you go to sign out of Transit. This is where you go to change your password. And this is where you go to set up what email you want to use for emailing and what phone number you want to use for texting. Right now, we've got it set up for test rounds. By the time we go live, we should also have it set up for plans. We're just working on that now, but this is where you would go and change your settings. So what we're going to focus on in this session, though, is plans. So if we click on plans, you'll see plans moved to the far left beside home, whereas it used to be somewhere out here. The screen looks a little bit different. One of the things that you'll notice is there's no longer a comments column. So we do believe we're going to bring that back. It's logged to be brought back. It wasn't being widely used, though. So I don't know if Travis, if you want to maybe if you want to put a quick poll together or something just to have people vote. So it wasn't being used and that's why it was deprecated. We have logged for it to come back because I do think it is useful. So you used to be able to right click and go in here and put in a comment, and you can still put that comment, but it doesn't display in the front page. So again, like if people, it's logged for it to come back. If people think it's a waste of time and you were never going to use it, then maybe we won't put the time into it. One thing is you used to be able to renumber your plans. You now will not be able to number your plans, but what you do have is the ability to build out categories to help you filter better. So you've got two filters. You've got your category filter and your project filter. The categories are built in the in the org settings. So only an admin can build a category. So if you need a new category added, you have to speak to your admin. The rest of this looks pretty similar to the way it looked before. New icons. This is our little issue icon. This is our flag icon or a failed icon, and this is our past. So it looks very similar to the way it looks now. When you go inside a plan, it's going to look pretty similar. If you're not using our plans, then this may look different to you from what you've seen before. We have the ability in plans now to build columns that reflect the percent complete of that activity. So in this case, if I tick this box as complete, it updates the percent complete to be 20. So based on the number of columns that have the percent driver status, that one didn't for some reason. But anyway, it updates it. When all your tick boxes are gone, it marks it 100% complete. If you take out one of the ticks, it automatically decrements it. So that's similar to the way it is now. If you want to add a row, the add row button is over here now. You just click add a row and it adds a row. You have the ability to multi-select like you did in the past. And when you multi-select, the things that you can do are all of the things that they were in the past. So if I want to take all these three and say they're no longer assigned to Brian, they're going to be assigned to Travis. then I save and it updates. Custom columns is slightly different. So if we right click and we go to customize columns, what it tries to do now is it tries to make the best use of real estate on the screen. So before, when you set your column widths, they were fixed widths. Now what it actually tries to do is help you out. So you can put in an amount here, but it's not going to be an exact amount unless you tick either the min or max amounts. So for your check boxes, you might want to say, okay, that you want them all to be 60, and you might want to set that as the maximum. And then it's not going to take up. Somebody's not on mute. So for example, if I went in here and I changed this to say it's 60 wide, oh, it's not a good one because that's patient identifier. So we'll leave that as, but say, you know, this one here, whereas medications, if I change it to 60 and I say that that's the max width, and I go back to my plan, then you can see it made it 60, whereas the other ones are all wider because they're trying to appropriately fill out the page. So I know we've got a lot of clients who are using these checkbox plans and have 10 columns or so where you've got things that you're checking. So you're going to want to remember that you're going to want to go here to custom columns, and you're going to want to set that maximum width. So the other thing is, if you create a custom column and you say that it's a reference list, it's going to automatically assign a custom reference list for you that you then need to go and add the values to. So if I click here, it'll take me to that one, and I can start adding my values. On the admin call, we also talked about the fact that there's the ability in the org settings to set up custom lists in advance. So if you have a list that's only for the one plan you're doing and no one else would use it, then you can use this feature. And again, if I want to add a value, I can just add a value by doing this, and then add another one. And then when I go back to that plan, and I don't remember which plan I was in, that was bad. Does anyone remember what I was in? Was it this one? No. But when you go back to your plan, then those will be available in the drop-down list. That was it. This is it. So again, if you have a list that you want to use more than once, then you should get the admin to build it for you. Otherwise, when you go in and add a column, so if I go in and add another one, and I say I want to add a custom column, then and I say it's a reference list, whoopsie. As soon as I say it's a reference list, it pops up the list of ones that are already available for me to use. So I can choose one of these, or I can just leave it blank and it's going to assign one of these. So if I click save here, then it created a new custom list for me. Any questions about the custom columns changes? I know a lot of people may not be using plans or might not have done a lot of custom columns. Over here, this is the hover text. So if you look at, for example, you know, this one here, the active medications, it says active medications here, and it just says medications here, so that when I go back here, it doesn't take up as much room, but I don't have to care about it because if I hover, it gives me whatever I've put in there. So again, a lot of clients are using these for checklist type things, as well as, you know, just using plans in general. One of the things that I didn't point out in the last session that I probably could have and should have is that when you're back on the plans page here, when I open a plan, it stays in the exact same window. And I'm not sure that that was always the case in TransIT 6. I believe it opened a new window. So I'm back here on the plans, and I've filtered this to whatever, and I want to go into multiple plans. Then what I can do is instead, I can just do control click. And when I do control click, whatever plan I open, it'll make it open in a new window. And then you can either, you know, control W to close the window, or like Angela says, you can just click the X here. But that's one thing that's true about TransIT 7 in general. It stays in the same window you're in. If you want to open a new one, you have the ability to do that by holding down the control key and clicking wherever it is that you want to go. Also, the back button consistently works. So in this case, because it's a new window, the back button isn't available. If I close that window, then back here, the back button is available, and I can click it to go back to where I was or go forward to wherever I want to go. I don't think that there's really many other changes for TransIT plans, so I think I'll stop now and ask if anybody has any questions. Okay, so I see Travis put in the voting there. Again, like right now, the comments aren't showing anywhere. They used to be on this page. So I wouldn't mind you submitting your vote for whether or not you care about whether it comes back or not. We'll probably do the poll in each of the 3 plans classes. Does anybody have any questions at all? So if you're one of the admins, what we were asking that you do this week is go in and generally look at your plans, make sure that everything came across well in the data conversion. We've done multiple data conversions, and we've all been in looking, and we haven't seen any issues with the data around the plans. But again, if you could take a second to vote. I don't have anything else to share today. Are there any questions that anyone has? Okay, if not, thank you very much, everybody. And we will be doing 2 more sessions for plans, and as well, the recording will be on our YouTube channel. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.